Hello everybody, today we are talking on Total English, on new Total English Upper Intermediate and Unit 1, Connect. Let's start. So the subject is first impressions. And in this unit we are going to look at the present and the future tenses. And to learn to take part in a conversation and make small talk. Раздел называется «Первое впечатление». В этом разделе мы разберем разницу между будущим временем и настоящим, а также разберем то, как принимать участие в разговоре и заводить приветственный разговор, беседу. So look at the photos. What kinds of things would you talk about too? And the variants are friends of friends at a party, classmates in a new class, colleagues in a new job, neighbors in a new area. So as far as I can see, after looking at the photos, I can say that we would talk about maybe friends of a friends at a party or neighbors in a new area. These pictures tell us about that. And read the Any Answers website. Here are some texts. How does each person feel about meeting new people? Do you think first impressions are important? Most people think it takes about 2 minutes to make a judgment about someone when you first meet. I'm reading a book at the moment about first impressions. It says we make decisions about new people in a few seconds. That means we make a decision without even thinking. Our minds unconsciously say, I really like you, or I'll avoid you. How quickly do you think you make judgments about people? Do you have any advice on what to do or say when you meet new people? Any answers, please? And here we have some answers. И здесь у нас есть несколько ответов. В данном ответе есть такие слова, как stumble over words, запинаться. Stumble over words. Anna from Spain. When a friend introduces me to someone at a party and I have to make small talk, I sometimes stumble over my words and start mumbling. I've watched more confident people and they always speak up. I read something about giving people compliments and asking questions. It's a good way to start a conversation. You can say something like, I really love your shoes. Where did you get them? So that's what I'm going to do next time I meet someone new. Also, feeling confident about what I look like helps me. So I always wear clothes that make me feel good. The next answer, следующий ответ, and the next new words, следующие слова, take over, преобладать. Ridiculous, смехотворный, нелепый. Mark from Australia. I work in a big company and I meet new colleagues all the time. I like meeting new people and I'm quite confident. But in my experience, people definitely form an instant opinion about you. Personally, I try not to be too judgmental, but I'm sure your unconscious mind may takes over a bit. You need to think about the language you use, especially when you greet people. I always say, "Hello, pleased to meet you." I can't stand it when people you don't know are really informal and say something like, "Hey, what's up?" I think it also sounds ridiculous when people are too formal and say, "How do you do?" The third answer and new words, третий ответ, новые слова, take down to, говорить свысока. Gossip about, сплетничать. Boast about, хвастаться о чем-то. Jelena, Poland. As I'm writing this, I'm nervous because I'm starting a new class tomorrow and I'm going to meet lots of new classmates. I think it'll be fine though. I know one person and I'm meeting her before the class. Also, most people are nervous in new situations. My parents always told me to treat people as you want them to treat you. You should never talk down to them or gossip about them. I'd like people to chat to me and be friendly, so I'm going to do that. I think it's also important to make eye contact and listen to people. You shouldn't talk about yourself all the time, boast about things, or dominate the conversation. Okay, and answer the questions, please. Here are the extracts. Здесь отрывки текстов для вас. According to the book, the writer is describing how long does it take to make judgments about people. So, if I'm not mistaken, it takes just a few seconds to make judgments about people we've just met. The next question. What does Anna mention about saying nice things to people? Okay, let's recollect. Давайте вспомним. She said that she read something about giving people compliments and asking questions. It's a good way to start a conversation. You can say something like, "I really love your shoes. Where did you get them?" Okay. Question number 3. What does Anna say about the clothes she wears? You can look for this information in the video, and if I'm not mistaken, Anna says that she feels confident about what she'll look. The feeling confident about what she looks like helps her, so she always wears clothes that make her feel good. Okay, then speaking about Mark, does Mark think that people judge each other quickly or not? According to what Mark says, He says, I like meeting new people and I'm quite confident, but in my experience, people definitely form an instant opinion about you. And he tries not to be too judgmental, but he is sure that our unconscious mind takes over. So he personally believes that we can judge people quickly, but he prefers being not too judgmental. What does Marx say about the formality of people's language? He can't stand it when people you don't know are really informal and say something like, hey, what's up? Or he finds it ridiculous when people are too formal and say, how do you do? And speaking about Jelena, what advice did Jelena's parents give her? So as far as I can remember, Jelena's parents told her that she should never talk uh, down to people or gossip about them. Also, they always told her to treat people as she wants them to treat her. And does Jelena say it's good to talk about yourself a lot? And she also adds that we shouldn't talk about ourselves all the time, boast about things, or dominate the conversation. Okay, great. And let's discuss the questions. It's the information for you personally. How true do you think it is that we make very quick judgments about people when we first meet? So, do you think it's quick or not? What's your personal opinion? Can you stop the video and say it loud? The next one. Do you think that your first impressions of someone you meet for the first time are usually correct or not? So, can you recollect something or tell us some stories from um, your biography and maybe some examples? What advice would you give to someone who is worried about going to a party with lots of new people? And what advice would you give to someone who is about to start a new job and wants to make a good first impressions? Please use the phrases you saw in the text and think about what you say, how much you speak or listen. Don't forget about eye contact. Choose what you wear and control your body language, maybe. Use your body language, not control, but use. Okay, speaking about who is worried about going to a party with lots of new people, you can advise to give compliments, to speak and listen, to always make eye contact because it's quite easy at a party, and maybe wear some party dress, that's okay. And as for the body language, you should obviously relax and not control it. There is no strict order how to greet people at a friend of a friend's party. Okay, and what advice would you give to someone who is about to start a new job and wants to make a good first impression? That's maybe more profound case, and definitely a person should think what he says, should control his thoughts, and certainly he should give an eye contact because it's very important for the employer. And by the way, can you say why is it so important to support the eye contact? What do you think about it? Or of course, you should think over what to wear because dress code is very important while speaking to a potential employer and employee. Because when we choose what to wear, it means that we choose our language of being polite. And body language is also very important because it's important maybe to shake hands or to make a small bow and so on and so forth. What do you think about it? Let's have a look at some sentences. Here you can see 10 sentences, and they are devoted to grammar, the present and the future tense. Let's differentiate between these two tenses. So the first one, I'm reading a book at the moment. The second, our minds unconsciously say, I really like you or I will avoid you. Third, that's what I'm going to do next time I meet someone new. The fourth, I always wear clothes that make me feel good. The fifth, I work in a big company. The sixth, as I'm writing this, I'm nervous. The seventh, I'm going to meet lots of new classmates. The eighth, I'm meeting her before the class. The ninth, I think it'll be fine though. The 10th, most people are nervous in new situations. Okay, and now let's see how we can classify. We use present simple for habits and routines, like I always wear clothes that make me feel good. It's a habit. We use present simple for describing a state. I work in a big company. It's a state for a person. His worker, his employee. We use present simple for things that are permanent and always true. Most people are nervous in new situations. Great. As you can see, we use present continuous for things that are happening right now at this precise moment. I'm reading a book at the moment. Right now. We use present continuous for temporary situations that are happening right now. As I'm writing this, I'm nervous. Or maybe it's going to be another example like I'm living in this apartment for 3 weeks only, and then I will move to another one. It's a temporary situation. Then we use present continuous for arrangements in the future, like I'm meeting her before the class. Okay, great. We use the future tense, will, For the unplanned decisions made while speaking, for example, our minds unconsciously say, I really like you or I will avoid you. It's unconscious decision made while speaking. Then predictions based on what you think or believe. I think it'll be fine though. Great. And we use go into for plans and intentions. That's what I'm going to do next time I meet someone new. Or predictions based on what you know or can see here right now. I'm going to meet lots of new classmates. So either plans and intentions or predictions, what you can see or hear. And we do not usually use state verbs in the continuous form like, think, want, and need. We cannot say, I'm wanting. It's forbidden. It's like you should say, I want, I like, I think, I need. I think if it means opinion, but not the process. If you're considering some important questions for a long time, you can say, I'm thinking. But still, if you express your opinion, you should say, I think. Let's find some mistakes here. So the first sentence, will make. I enjoyed my class and I'm sure I will make some new friends. He'll meet some new classmates after school in a cafe at 5:30. He is meeting, or they are meeting, or he is meeting. It's arrangement. She's always arriving early on the first day of the new course. It's a habit, so she arrives early on the first day of a new course. I've decided that I'm going to study, it's a decision, harder this term than before. My cousin lives with us at the moment just for 3 years while he's at university. My cousin is living, it's a temporary situation, with us at the moment just for 3 years while he's at university. I think I will have a lot of homework to do this year, just a prediction according to what you think. I think I will have a lot of homework to do this year. And we've got a really good teacher this term. I like her, certainly, it's the verb state. And he'll listen to some music at the same time as studying right now. Of course, he's listening right now at the same time as he's studying right now. Great, and let's go further. Take turns to ask and answer the questions. Tell us about your partner. Let's train what we have learned right now. Let's train it. And here are the topics: accommodation, family, new people, plans for the weekend, meeting friends, hobbies. And you can say, what are your plans for the weekend? Ask somebody. Then he or she will answer, I'm going to have a swim with friends. It's just an arrangement, a plan. And retell us about your partner. So my partner is going to have a swim with friends at the weekend. The next example, why are you living currently? Where are you living currently? I'm living at my brother's right now. So my friend says he's living at his brother's now. It's a temporary situation. Or maybe, where does your family live? They live in France. My partner says his family live in France. Okay. And why are we reading all these? Just to underline that texts contain a range of grammar that the writer has chosen for a particular reason. We can understand more about what we read or what we read by thinking about this choice of grammar. So why do you think the writers chose to use the underlined grammar in these sentences, the special grammar? For example, our minds unconsciously say, I really like you or I'll avoid you. I will avoid you. I will avoid you. Why? Why not I'm going to avoid you, or why not I am avoiding you? Why I will avoid you? What do you think? Okay, you should never talk down to them or gossip about them. Why should? But why? Please never talk down, or you'd better never talk down, or what? Why you should never talk down to them or gossip about them? What does the author want to say? And I'd like people to chat to me and be friendly, so I'm going to do that. Why not I will do that, or why I'm doing that? Why suggest I'm going to do that? What do you think? And so the third sentence here, what difference to meaning would those choices make? So in the first sentence, I think that it is just a certain decision. I will avoid you. It is abruptly made decision, unconsciously made decision, and it is certain and definite, like I will avoid you. No other variant is possible. Okay, then in the second variant, you should never talk down to them or gossip about them, because should, this sounds like not that it is forbidden, but it is rather a strict rule of being polite. You should never, not just please. Please is just like a request or something like that. It's just a very polite recommendation. You should never talk down. And as for the third sentence, I'd like people to chat to me and be friendly, so I'm going to do that. And that means not that I will do that, it's not a certain decision, but I'm going to do that. It's just something that you are anticipating to happen from people. That's what I think. What about you? What's your opinion? Please comment, share your comments. And here we can say some words. Here is the texts, and let's train some new phrases like make small talk, stumble over your words, mumble, speak up, give someone a compliment, talk down to someone, gossip, chat, boast, and greet someone. Okay, let's find the surroundings, the sentence where you can see these words. And so the first one, make small talk. When a friend introduces me to someone at a party and I have to make small talk, I sometimes stumble over my words and start mumbling. Make small talk, stumble over my words and start mumbling. When you are to make small talk, do you usually do it easily, or do you stumble over your words? Do you start mumbling? What do you say? What will you say? Okay, the next one. Speak up. I've watched more confident people and they always speak up. So do you agree that for being confident, it is better not to speak not to speak in low voice, but it is better to speak up? What do you think? Okay. And give someone a compliment. I read something about giving people compliments and asking questions. And giving people compliments. Do you usually avoid giving people compliments, or do you usually give some compliments to people? Do you like it? Okay, talk down to someone. By the way, how many compliments have you given today? Talk down to someone. So you should never talk down to people or gossip about people. Do you agree to that? Do you usually gossip or talk down to people? As for me, sometimes it happens to me that I talk down to people. I think that it is an ugly habit, but still I should avoid it. But I never gossip about people. I hate gossiping. It's awful for me. What about you? The next word, chat. I'd like people to chat to me and be friendly. It's quite easy. Let's pay our attention to boast. Boast. You shouldn't talk about yourself all the time, boast about things, or dominate the conversation. Yeah. Do you like boasting about things or people or what or whatever? Do you like this process or do you hate it? Okay, and greets people. It's mark quotation. You need to think about the language you use, especially when you greet people. Yeah, and I guess that's not only just the language, but it's also body language and language of the clothes and also the language itself. Like greeting people is very important. Don't you think so? Great. And now please let's train these phrases and choose the correct word in italics. I'm going to be silent, just some stop the video and then we will check it. So let's go. Great. And now let's practice all these phrases personally. So, how true these statements about you tell us. I will express my point of view, then I'm going to read or listen to your comments. So, I agree that people always respond positively when I give them a compliment. I enjoy giving compliments to people. And certainly, hobbies and the weather are the best two topics to make small talk. True. And I never mumbled when I was a teenager. It's my strong point. And yeah, I think talking down to elderly people is ugly, is an ugly habit. I never get nervous when I speak in public and I never stumble over my words, really. And if you do, you should try speaking over and over again, and you will, and this habit will disappear. True. Sure, boasting about your possessions is worse than about your achievements. It's for sure. I agree to that totally. And gossiping and talking about people behind their backs can be very hurtful. And all in all, gossiping is very hurtful always. So I admire those people who avoid gossiping and is never engaged in that. And how to make a good first impression. So there are some tips. So you should first greet someone with the phrases like, let's read them together. It's great to meet you. Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you too. Fine, thanks, and you? After greeting, you should go to and try to find out what you have in common. Like, have you done any Spanish classes before? Do you live near here? How did you get here today? It's quite easy. Any question? Then you should sound interested in the other person. I know what you mean. Oh, really? Are you? Like you're expressing your astonishment and maybe being interested in the process of your conversation. And then finish the conversation politely, like, I'm sorry, I really must go, but it was great to meet you. Good to meet you. See you again soon. Okay? And you want to make a good impression on someone you haven't met before, use any situations, any situation and greetings. Play out a conversation and hear the situations. For example, imagine that you are at friends of friends at a party, classmates in a new class, colleagues in a new job, or neighbors in a new area. So for example, I will choose neighbors in a new area. Doesn't matter actually. And don't forget about the greetings, like, and play out a conversation, greeting someone, trying to find out what you have in common, using the situation that you have chosen, and using all these phrases from the text maybe, and play out a conversation. Share in your comments or send it to me, doesn't matter. It's going to be very interesting. And after you played out a conversation, please think over. Do you think you made a good impression on each other? How could you improve your conversation? Still, you have a chance to really improve your conversation and do it. And up to now, thank you very much for your attention. See you next time. Bye.